I didn't see you come in. Well, cheers. That reminds me, this episode is brought to you by Cheers Package Store, located at 508 City Boulevard in beautiful Waycross, Georgia. So if you've got a hankering for a tasty adult beverage, go on down to Cheers Package Store. Again, it's located at 508 City Boulevard in beautiful Waycross, Georgia. Oh, and tell Roy that the Something in the Water boys said hello. Drink responsibly.
That's not like having your horse stuffed.
No, that's a little bit
like
different.
having the
But
person
I'm thinking
Way weirder.
Roy Rogers had his horse mounted so he could mount him one more time, and I'm sure Tony Alamo, but it's different from Tony Alamo's wife being mounted so he could mount her one more time.
That's definitely a different kind of mountain there.
But you can mount your horse. It's like high in the saddle.
Now, which one's worse?
Something in the water taught me how to crawl. Something in the water taught me how to fall.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to another Something in the Water podcast. I'm Uncle Dave Griffin, along with Sean Clark, co-host, and our guest this week is our good buddy, Andy Johnson.
Yep.
For the second time on Something in the Water.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Am I the first to be on here twice?
No?
No.
Damn.
But you are one of the best
All right.
to be on here twice.
That's even better.
Jason Chance we had twice, and
That's right.
Page Brothers.
Page Brothers.
I guess that's it.
Third time's a charm.
We're going to get this one right.
Yeah.
Well, the last one was pretty good. The last one, if y'all are staunch Something in the Water supporters, you remember Andy was on one of our
second or third.
I believe it was our second one.
Cool.
Was out in that shop building, and I'm pointing right at it out the window right there.
Y'all turn and look right over there.
Yep. And that was the origins of the podcast was out in a kind of a shed shop utility building. Mm-hmm. And well, how's things been going with you now?
Going
I guess
pretty
since
good.
we talked to you, you were on the verge of being a daddy. I think when
Was that right?
That's
when
right.
we
Yeah.
had you on our first podcast.
Yeah.
I think she was nervous that you was down here.
Yes.
That's right. Yep. I got a baby girl now. She's awesome.
Yes, she is.
Birdie Mae.
Birdie Mae.
Birdie Mae. And
13 months
she's
old.
13 months old now.
Yep.
That's right. Yes, she is a sweetheart. We got to meet her. She's in yonder right now with Mama. And she knows no strangers. She seems to be quite a adjusted
I haven't heard her cry yet.
little baby.
We were around her this weekend and everything.
Yeah.
She's pretty happy. From some of the other stories I've heard from other people.
Yeah,
She's
she's a happy
really
baby.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're fortunate with that. That's be grateful for
So
that.
far.
'Cause,
It's a long way to go.
yeah, I think she's gonna be all right.
You got a brand new album out.
Brand new album. What do you hear?
It's called Help Yourself.
Help yourself.
Yep. Oh, you don't see there?
And who did the artwork there?
Mr. Rob Chandler. R.S. Chandler.
I think I've heard of him. R.S. Chandler.
He does a lot of work around Savannah area, but doesn't do a whole lot of CD artwork. But he said it was a welcome change. He'd been bogged down with some other stuff, and
that's some pretty artwork. It's real
nice,
folky.
Rob actually invited me to join my first band when I was in high school. They had a band, and they were playing at parties on the weekends without a singer. And I was a singer at the time in church and learning guitar. And we ended up having some kind of elective class together, like our senior year in high school. He invited me to join, and he's not playing music anymore, but still artsy guy. We're good friends. He's got a daughter that's about the same age as my daughter, and he just moved back to town, Thomaston, where I live. So
the artist actually lives in Thomaston.
Yep.
Yeah. Is this? I'm thinking that since this thing is full of flowers right there, and your fifth song is Wisteria Bloom, is this wisteria?
No, those are actually magnolias. But
magnolias. Okay.
The song mentions magnolias.
Okay.
So
I noticed on my copy that in the special thanks to them Waycross fools.
Oh, who was that?
Sean, Jesse, Coondog, Uncle Dave, Jody, Larry, Justin, and Carrie Dawn. Pretty nice.
Yeah,
I don't know what I did, but
well, I wrote a good bit of that album down in this while I was down working in this area, and ended up spending a bunch of time up here and talking to y'all and hanging out with y'all during that process. So y'all had an influence on it, whether you knew it or not.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of shows together. You've been sitting on Pine Box a lot, and me and you've done some duo gigs. You got some coming up.
Yep.
And I will get you.
It's a really good album, by the way.
On a festival coming up soon.
That'll be cool too.
I like these. All of these are originals.
No, the first song is
Pony
a cover.
Boy is the Dickie Betts song.
Dickie Betts song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then 500 Pesos to Oz, which you performed on our first podcast.
Yeah, I was getting ready to release that as a single at the time.
Yeah.
And I did. And it flopped. No, I'm just kidding.
Song about playing Graham Parsons songs at the festival in Mexico, or actually after the festival.
Yep, at a party. Holy Alamo.
Yep,
that one's about a psychotic Christian cult leader.
Okay.
Keep the South strange.
The title cut, Help Yourself. Wisteria Bloom. Tennessee Fiddle Daddy.
That's a good one.
Oh, about that, I looked at those words about 10 million times leading up to the actual release of the album, just from looking at the lyrics and writing it. And, when you go through and filling out all your stuff for your album, you have to write everything down again. Everywhere I misspelled Tennessee.
In there?
Oh yeah, everywhere until very last minute we noticed it. I think it might have been my wife.
What'd you do? Leave an N or a
left
S
an S out? The
left
last S.
Out. That's his. TENN.
That would have been stupid.
Yes,
well, I guess I did do something stupid. I misspelled Jess Darcy's name in there. He's now Jess Darby in the credits there. I felt really bad about it because he plays killer banjo on 3 or 4 songs.
We've been rocking it out, me and Connor on the road. He got a copy from you when we were in Albany this past weekend, and we jammed it all the way to Athens and back. It's a good one.
Thank you. Recorded it at Sky South Studio in Cochrane with Daniel Neesmith. He's been doing a lot more recording the last few years since it seems like it. A few years ago, he was playing a lot more with his band, Back City Woods. It seems like they've been playing a little less, and he's been taking on more recording projects, and it's like he gets better everything he does. So,
and I like that. What was the name of the studio?
Sky South.
Sky South.
That's his studio.
There's a lot of music from. Well, I don't know how much, but. as far as I know, Back City Woods made up of several people from Cochran. And Deep Well is also a band out of Cochran. You familiar with them?
I've heard that name, but I don't know them.
They're a bunch of older guys. They're probably in their 60s. They play at Grand Parsons. They've played at Grand Parsons for a bunch of years. Ronnie Smith.
George.
His name is George R. Smith, but he goes by Ronnie. And used to be a guy named Cliff Lee, maybe?
Cliff Lee. There's a guy from up there.
Guitar player. Mm-hmm. He was their guitar player for a long time. And he was originally from Waycross, I think. Pretty sure, but he hadn't been with them. Kyle or Keith is maybe the keyboard player for the group. Has something to do with a like an Opry house there.
You made me thinking about the medicine show in Eastman, which is the next town over.
That might be it, yeah. But they do a lot of shows up around that way, at that place in particular. But a lot of good music from up that way. It's good to rub shoulders with y'all. Yeah. So what's been going on the home front now that you got a baby? I mean, is there any stories you got for us? Any daddy stories you got to relate that's unique or?
Well, we took her to the beach for the first time today. She liked that.
Awesome.
I'm a big river, and my wife and I are big river enthusiasts where we live up in Thomaston. We got the Flint River up there. We got to take her out.
Oh, okay. That's the Flint is all the way up there too. Okay.
Yep. We took Birdie on her first little boat trip a couple of weeks ago. And that was awesome. That was special for me because, like I said, I'm a big enthusiast. So that was neat.
How'd she like the beach?
Water was kind of cold today. She wasn't really into that, but she liked the birds. We have chickens and ducks at home. She likes to go out there and yell at them. And so seeing all the different birds and stuff, she really liked that. She kept calling them duck. She says, "Guh, guh."
That sounds more like gull.
Yeah.
So with a name like Birdie,
Yeah.
she's right at home.
Yeah, I hope she ends up liking birds.
How do you spell her name?
Birdie. Birdie.
And what's her full name?
Birdie Mae. M-A-E.
Birdie Mae. M-A-E.
Mae Johnson. Mm-hmm.
That's my mama's middle name too. Birdie Mae Johnson.
She can be playing blues.
That sounds like a old blues lady.
She's gonna be playing the slide guitar, singing some blues.
That flat top right there.
Yeah. Well, she likes plucking on my guitar strings. I have to keep her away from it. I'm scared she's going to tear it up. And she likes to stand there and scream and start singing. So we'll see.
Well, it's bound to happen. I mean, your boy has taken on keyboards and soundtrack type.
Mm-hmm. Creating music with computer programs. And stuff.
And of course, my boy is
box boy.
He's a box boy. He's a drummer in Sean's band, Pine Box Dwellers, and he's been writing songs and playing drums and cajon and
learning guitar.
Yeah, he's starting to learn the guitar now, so she'll probably be following in the footsteps. They usually do, as opposed to preachers' daughters and preacher's sons. They tend to rebel worse than anybody.
Yeah, I show you.
Yeah, sin, you ain't seen sin.
So you've been playing a bunch of shows down here.
I'm down here right now playing and running shows. Hopefully by the time I make it home, I'll still have all my equipment running and in order and not torn all apart.
Yeah, you had a mic stand down.
That mic stand is down right now because of something that happened last night over on one of the islands down here.
Tell us about it.
Well, I'm sitting there and wasn't many people in the place. That's fine. It was early. I just started. And I look up, and I was just about to start. And look up, and this group of like 15 guys look like they just come off the golf course with fat wallets. So I was like, all right, might make some tips. Cool. And they want to come up and play on the pool table right in front of me, of course. And they don't regard the fact that I'm sitting there, and they don't see my guitar case sitting out there as a tip bucket and my table over there. They didn't see all that. But yeah, I look up and one of the guys is falling down in my guitar case.
Oh, Lord.
And I stopped and kind of assisted him, and one of his friends grabbed one of his arms, and he turned around and looked me in the eye like he was just confused about what was going on, and then sat down in my guitar case.
He might have been having a heart attack or stroke or something.
Well, he was older, an older gentleman.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if it had been a younger
drunk,
guy, I
but-
might have been more like mad about it. But I was like, dang, this guy's gonna break his damn leg. Well, his friends are like, oh, shit. Oh, we got to take him home, you know. And they kind of looked like they were starting to break up or they were going to leave. And so I regained my composure. I checked my case. It wasn't broke. They came up, tipped me. Sorry, man. Let's get you a beer. I said, all right. It's all good. It's all good. Worst has happened for sure. I go back to playing. So I was like, all right, let's hit them with some Beatles. Maybe they'll tip for that. So I start playing Blackbird. I'm sitting there picking it. And I look up, and there comes the guy. Looking me straight in the eye. He had to have been at least 5 or 6 feet away, but coming straight at me. And I stopped and kind of stiff-armed him, and he like reached and grabbed my mic stand, and dude, bam, broke my brand new mic stand. Still had the tag on it.
Really? I didn't tell me it was new.
Brand new. I still didn't know how to work it just right. It's got lots of knobs and stuff. I'm still figuring it out.
Man.
Well, they look around and, oh, God, we got to go now. Oh, look, we're sorry. And come over there and hand me a 20. And I'm like, man, this is a $100 guitar stand, which I asked my wife, and it actually isn't. It was a $50, but I thought it was $100. We got it on sale or something.
Retail, $100.
But they went over there and kind of huddled up and come back and gave me a $100 bill.
How many of them?
I was like, screw this mic stand, dude. And then the bar back came out and gave me some duct tape, and
Off you go.
there you go.
back to work.
You was able to fix it with the duct tape.
A little South Georgia chrome.
Yep.
How many was in their group?
Oh, it had to have been about 12 or 15 of them. So it made me feel bad when they left because I was like, damn, there goes the bartender's money for the night. And
Well,
It wasn't your fault.
yeah, well,
Man,
they were replaced by more people. So
them golf-
it ended up being okay. But
Them drunk golfers, man, they'll get you. I was playing, it was probably 10 years or longer. It was at the First Creek in Waycross in Cypress Creek. Yeah. But I think it was me and Paulie Delmar playing a gig. Him on drums, me playing guitar. And all of a sudden, this golf ball, well, I didn't know what it was. Something flew past me and hit the back wall, and it rolled out, and it was a golf ball. And I was pissed. I was like,
Who threw that?
I mean, threw as hard. If it would have hit me, it would have been on. And this table of drunk golfer guys. And then Corey Bradley was up there, and he's like, fuck this. We're going to get to the bottom of this. And
I pity
They were
the
like, "We're
golfers.
sorry, he's drunk. We're
I
sorry."
pity the golfer that got in Corey Bradley's way.
One of them was pretty tall.
That don't matter with Corey Bradley.
Yeah.
He's itching for a fight.
Yeah.
Well, I was had a band back in about 76, 75 through 78. But must have been 77. We were playing up in Fredericksburg, Virginia, at a Holiday Inn, and our keyboard player was on stage. We set up left to right. He was on the far right on the corner of the stage, and he had his little. We carried a C3, a Hammond C3. It wasn't a B3, but it was a smaller version of the B3, and that was probably contributed to my hernias in my life, loading and unloading it. But he had his C3, and then on top of that, he had this thing called an Elka string machine. It was the brand name was Elka. Anyhow, he had that sitting on top of his Hammond, and I swear to God, an older guy started on this side of the dance floor where I was at on this end of the stage. He started in front of me and started falling, and he fell in slow motion.
Long fall.
Down 10, 15 feet from that side all the way. He fell across the dance floor. He kept falling, stumbling and falling. And right before he went down, he was over here on this end, and he reached out and he grabbed Ricky's string machine and took it down on the floor with him. So, yeah, that alcohol will make you do things.
And that's like I told those guys that remained afterwards last night, is like, you'd be surprised how many times something like that happens. People either think it's okay to go ahead and just get up there on the stage with you, or ones that end up there on accident.
Yeah.
Me and you were playing a gig, Dave, at Cypress Creek, and this guy, we had the speakers on stands right in front of us, and it was back when it was always packed out, and he went to fall and grabbed that speaker stand, and it was coming right at your head. I can't remember if I saw it or somebody beside you saw it, but it didn't hit you, but it'd probably put you in the hospital.
You ever had anything else broke by other people that wasn't supposed to be?
I can't count how many times somebody's knocked the mic stand into my teeth.
Oh yeah, that's a big fear of mine, because it's happened several times.
I found out
now when people get anywhere close, I'm like,
well, in those situations where they can be that right there, I like to do it the boom off to the side, one way or the other.
Or you can put your guitar case out in front of you and create a barrier.
But then they will. I do.
Oh no, then an old guy will fall in it and break it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I've had somebody fall on my guitar case before. But there was a guy right where you played with your mic stand story. I was wondering if it was going to be the same guy when you started telling me. Young hippie kid, I don't know what he was probably tripping on acid or something, but he kept trying to play Lee's drums. I think it was Lee was sitting there with the Pine Box Dwellers, and he kept hitting the cymbals, and I was like, nah, man, we're playing, as we're playing, I'm kind of backing him up with my guitar, like, all right, come on, man. And he kind of put a shoulder in, he kept coming back, and he got to where he was pushing me, and I just grabbed him, and he went from all the way to the bathrooms. I don't know. It was on video too. We were I was trying to do a little live video.
Oh man. Yeah, I wish I would have been videoing last night. But I've got doing this here with y'all today, and I've got let's see. I've got three more shows down here if the weather holds out. Okay. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Where are you gonna be?
This Friday, tomorrow, I'll be at Sunbury Crab Company.
Which this probably won't be out till.
No, well, that's true, but just to know, you're going to be at Sunbury Crab Company tomorrow,
and then
Friday,
Saturday it's supposed to be at Stan's with the group,
Captain
with
Stan's
the trio, and I was gonna. Then Sunday I'm playing at a new brewery in Midway called Split Fin.
Split what?
Split Fin Brewing. New, kind of small brewery.
Cool.
I'm not really even sure how I found out about it, but we're going to try it out.
Heck yeah.
You mentioned trio, did you say, a band?
Yeah, me and Daniel Naismith and Chris Maddox have been playing together as a trio. Chris is bassist.
Bass. Okay.
And Daniel, so when we kind of started performing this way so that we could perform the songs on the new album. And Daniel plays banjo, mandolin, and guitar on the album. Mm-hmm. So he does all three of those things. And we, of course, added several of his songs. He's got a lot of good stuff from Back City Woods, kind of doing them in a slightly different way.
Mm-hmm. What do y'all call yourselves?
Right. Well, we've done Andy Johnson and Daniel Naismith, but the new thing is Andy Johnson and the Shade Trees.
Yeah.
The Shade Trees is going to be Daniel's new moniker, I believe, or in some project he's about to start working on.
Cool.
He's been recording a lot of other people, and I think he said he's about to start working on some of his own stuff. So I hope I can help out, contribute with that too.
That's cool. And you got a CD release party coming up that me and Connor, Pine Box Dwellers, going to open up for you.
May 8th, which that'll be gone by the time this airs too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's cool.
So, yeah.
Yep, going to be playing at Grant's Lounge.
At Hargrave. Did they move it?
Well, that's not supposed to be. I guess we can go ahead and say it.
It'll be over by the time they see it.
Yeah. Going to be at Capitol Theater, yeah. City release party at Capitol Theater. It'll be Andy Johnson and the Shade Trees, but we got, it ain't just going to be me, Daniel, and Chris on that one. We got some other folks going to be playing.
Cool.
Can't say who just yet.
Big names. Big names.
No.
That's going to be on
it's a Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
Yep, and Pine Box Dwellers are going to be opening that show. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
Did a couple small CD release things. Did one at a friend's house in Macon and one at my house on the back porch a couple of weeks ago. It turned out pretty good. I told Sean that if y'all are ever up that way playing, y'all should let me know, and I can try to organize something for y'all to come over there and play.
I'd be down for that. Anytime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've been doing a good bit of that. Facebook Live and stuff. And
I was. It slowed down a good bit.
Some stuff together too. You know? It was interesting. Well, they were themed, and y'all were complicit with one another, but y'all were separate.
Yeah,
You'd go on at 7 and he'd go on at 8 or something.
Yeah, we weren't in the same town, but we would get together on a theme and advertise it together. And
like whatever.
Say, check him out now. Check
we did a
Cowboy
90s night.
songs.
Right. We did a classic country night, didn't we? Or
classic country. And we did
90s night.
90s night.
Yeah.
And we talked about doing a couple more. We just hadn't got around to it yet.
Yeah.
We got some more themes. I've been working up songs for that one we talked about.
Oh, you have? I hadn't. You need to tell me stuff like that. I'll get on the ball. I thought you were just. I told you, and you never hear anything. I figured you were like, screw that.
Well, you said you had a bunch already ready, so I was like, oh God.
No, I said I had some I was thinking about. I probably got a few.
We're going to try to do a ladies' night.
Yeah, like us covering
all female
singers.
Oh, okay.
So you can see that's going to take a little practice. I don't have a whole set of female sung songs. I have a few that I do, but not a whole.
Yeah, that would be
I had to do some homework.
We're not like trying to sing like them, but just to do it how we would do it.
Like well, me and Bobby McGee would be one, you know.
Kind of like the reverse effect, where that was a Chris Christopherson song and Janis Joplin made it hers.
Yeah.
We're going to take a Janis Joplin song and make it ours. Or whoever,
It's like doing Jolene by Dolly Parton.
That might be weird. Jolene, please don't take my man.
Do you some Emmylou Harris? That wouldn't be a tough stretch.
Yeah, I mean, she was definitely on my list.
Mm-hmm. Your list for what?
Yeah. You know.
Emmylou with a capital E.
That one was underlined.
Yeah.
She sure is pretty.
She is. Even still. I think she's prettier now than she was when she started out with Graham. I really do. She's
When she got that silver mane.
beautiful. She is.
She's striking.
Stunning. Yeah, she's just.
I had at least one of her songs on my first list that I wrote down of stuff to possibly do for a ladies' night.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too hard to sing. I couldn't figure it out how to do it.
You remember which one?
Wrecking Ball.
Oh yeah.
You know that one?
Yeah.
It's from the 90s, I think.
Mm-hmm. She's playing with I think the group behind her on that one was called Spy Boy or something like that. It's a couple of black guys and a white guy in the group. It was an odd pairing, but it's different. And she's always, gone for, like she's kind of like a lot like Neil Young to me as far as her albums go. She just kind of lets the music take her wherever, and she don't mind breaking the rules and everything. Or Dylan or Neil Young. It's kind of like that, they just
Switch directions.
It's like Neil Young is I think he's the king of it, I don't know, I think I'm going to do a blues album now. And the next one will be Rockabilly and Neil Young and the Shocking Pinks and Neil Young and the Blue Notes. And the whole time the record company said, just give us Harvest again. Give us a Heart of Gold, another Heart of Gold. And he said, no. He don't like that commercial grind. He's all about the art, which is okay. Yeah. So shortly we're going to be taking a break because you've got an interview coming up tonight. A telephone interview with a Mexican radio station.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, I went and played in Todos Santos 2 different years over on the Baja State, Mexico. And this is the adjacent state in the town of Puerto Vallarta.
Okay, I've heard of that.
And I think I may have reached out to them first. I'm not sure, but I'm always just trying to find a new person to try to play a song or something. And I think I may have told them about me playing over there at the festival or something like that, and they finally responded to me. But we did a live interview like this back when the single came out last year, and it was pretty fun. They were translating me live on the air. I could hear it going on. It was pretty crazy. And everything I said, they were like, "Oh, Andy Johnson.
Oh, Andy Johnson." So who you're talking to is speaking English?
Yes.
And then
he repeats his question in Spanish, and then I answer, and then he translates my
into Spanish.
So you don't know if he's saying what you really said.
I have no idea. I know
He's
a couple times it was way shorter. Maybe he just summarized because I do a lot of stammering and spinning my wheels before I actually get what I'm trying to say. So.
I don't know. I think that's true with the difference in the language English is the hardest language in the world to speak because we got all these. And
That's another thing that makes me wonder about the translation on the fly.
Yeah. A lot of times them foreign languages can say.
Did you hear what that asshole just said?
Say what we say in just a little bit.
These Americans think they can just say whatever they want.
Yeah. Just listen to the baseball players when they, there's so many Latinos on those teams now, and they're talented too. When they get on the after the game, winning home run and all, they'll be the guest, and they'll have a translator right there with them, and it's like the English announcer will say this long sentence, and the guy will translate it into like, and it's like, okay.
It makes me wonder if they like forgot a part of what he said, or
they're just saying what they want you to
which is crazy.
He said that blah blah blah, and just change it to whatever just to screw it up,
right? It makes you wonder because like we're one of the only countries that only speaks our main language. Anywhere else you go in the world, they speak 2 languages or more.
Mm-hmm.
Lazy Americans.
I'm emailing all these radio stations in other countries, and I'll try to use Google Translate or something, and they'll just respond back in English like, "Look, dude, we get you. We can understand you." That's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah,
sometimes. It's like I think we might have even found Herdine and Round and Sound through you guys, the Netherlands radio station.
Gardine.
Mm-hmm. And
she's always playing our music and your music, and she's played Dave's music and
once.
Well, they don't dread it, Dave. You got to keep up on those people.
Stay in touch. Yeah.
She was back when I launched my wife's art web site, and
you did what?
Launched my wife's art website.
I thought you were throwing her art out the window or something.
I launched her art.
Tired of looking at this paint.
No, I built her a website that attached to the Safe at Home website, and we launched it about a year ago, back at the beginning of the shutdown pandemic. And Gardine saw the picnic basket that she painted roosters on the top lids, and she was real interested in that. And I said, I'll see what I can find out. We'll work with you as best we can, because I'll have to go to check out Postal Service, UPS, FedEx, and find out who's got the best postage rate to Holland, Mm-hmm. And
it's kind of high.
It was pretty high. And you're talking about a picnic basket about, and that wide, and that long.
And for our listeners, he's doing about a 1.5 feet to the side.
That's right. This is also on radio only.
Yeah, everybody knows what a picnic basket is. Huh?
It's about the size of a picnic basket. You remember that cartoon with Yogi Bear that time?
We're picnic basket. Hey, boo boo.
And anyhow, it turned out that she couldn't get it. So
she stopped playing your music.
Way to go. Now she's listening to the podcast.
All the rooms are booked.
That was Sean Gardine.
She's not mad at me.
Not just her, but there's also Bram over there, Bram Brandenburg, and
they have 2 different radio shows.
Joost, I think it's Joss.
That's pretty.
Liefdink.
That's pretty cool. That y'all's music is finding a home.
Yeah,
I mean, I've always heard that though, that the Netherlands especially.
They love music.
Europeans in general, but the Netherlands specifically really hone in on Americana and country rock. And Grand Parsons.
Well, we
stuff
need
like
to go
that.
there and get a house.
You go do a tour over
Yeah.
there.
Package show.
A package show, that would be, not only would it be fun, but it would be expensive. But we're going to wait till this crisis, this COVID crisis, kind of winds up. But it'd be fun. A lot of the Jim Lauderdale, the Doug Seegers,
Go over there.
groups like that, artists like that are constantly going over there and touring. So might be something that you could work up some kind of a package on. You might have to have the assistance of an agent or something. I don't know. You could probably do it on your own.
I heard, trying to think who I was talking to, but they were saying there was, you get with the agency and then they set up the whole thing with the rental van or whatever and your equipment, and
Yeah,
they setting it, go here, and then I'll drive here and do that. But that sounds scary to me. Like, I mean, I would do it, but like just going over there and hoping they got what you need, and
there'd be a lot of variables you'd have to work out.
Yeah, being used to planning everything myself, I would definitely be nervous about it.
mm-hmm.
Sound would be the thing, unless you were doing it like a solo tour, and then you could have, like what I use over here is a Bose stick, and it's
Carry that in your suitcase or something, probably.
carry that in a picnic basket. Yeah, it breaks down into, the stick part stands about 7 or 8 foot off the ground, but it breaks down into 3.5 foot pieces.
Well, they got different kind of plugs over there. You'd have to get some
That's
kind
true too.
Oh, man.
of adapters.
Yeah.
Cut your wires.
Mm-hmm. What is it over there? 220? No,
I don't know, but it
it's
looks,
something else.
They look
It's-
weird.
they look different.
It's,
Two little metal prongs.
yeah.
Round prongs.
It's not even 110. It's not set up on that whole thing. Plus, they go on the metric system over there for everything, so you'd have to know where you was going. They said, it's about 60 miles. What? It's about so many kilometers.
Yep. They don't have quarter pounder with cheese, do they?
No, it's a El Cuatro.
El Royale.
El Royale. Yep.
Pulp Fiction.
Yep.
That was John Travolta's line.
Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we need to take a break so you can get on that Mexican.
Is it time?
It's about there, and then we'll come right back, and you're going to play us some music.
Heck yeah.
Play something off of the new CD.
I will if y'all promise not to break my mic stand.
Okay.
Justin's mic stand.
If I fall on you, I'll break more than your mic stand.
Dude, I'm going to stiff arm you just like I did that guy last night, straight to the ground.
Well,
I hate to see
Only
that.
difference
Sir. I was like, sir.
difference between me and that old man from last night. I am old, but the difference between me and him is I'm not drinking. We'll be right back.
I thought you were going to say you fall backwards.
I thought you were going to say you didn't have on loafers.
Something in my brain won't let me stray. Something in my veins gonna find its way. Something in the water taught me how to pray. When the cold black water finds its way into your veins, you'll never be the same.
All right, we're back from the break with Andy Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah, he just got through with his Mexican phone interview for radio.
Mexican radio station, Puerto Vallarta.
In Puerto Vallarta, Radiante FM.
How did that go?
Man, it was interesting. It's a whirlwind because as I'm speaking, somebody's translating, and they ask the question in Spanish and then in English. So just got to really be paying attention. Yeah,
A lot of trends.
a lot going on. I caught on to some of the things they were saying in Espanol. I'm a student, but I'm no good. When I was leading up to this, talking to the guy, I was using Google Translate.
Oh,
So I had to confess to him after we booked the interview that I couldn't do it in Spanish. I didn't know he wanted to do a live interview
Yeah.
on the radio, and I was like, live in Spanish? I don't think I can do that. I could look it up or take some time and do it. But anyway,
So you're gonna
luckily they, like I said, everybody else in the world is smarter than us, so they speak English very well, and they were able to easily and fluently translate my answers. I think.
You think?
Yeah, I'll have to get one of my buddies to listen back and make sure
Oh,
they
man,
didn't
they
make me
did you
sound like
wrong.
an idiot.
They were.
tell you what,
Hey, my name's Andy. I'm a real smart guy. Look at me.
that's what they
I got a guitar. Duh. I wrote a song about it.
If you ever hear the word loco,
El Loco Gringo.
They're really like making you a mockery or like,
Yeah.
we're gonna get him to call again. It'll be funny.
I'm sure it went good.
Well, they said they thought after they went off the air, he was like, "Are you still there?" And, he said, "I think it went really good."
Yeah.
He said, "How do you feel?" And I was like, "I just hope I didn't sound too stupid." Just like being on this podcast with you guys, I hope I didn't sound too stupid.
No, never.
It's all good.
Because I am stupid, but I hope I don't sound too stupid.
Well, you're in.
So are we.
You-
That point comes across
You're in good company.
very, very often.
Don't got to tell them that.
Yeah, it comes across with me anyhow.
So, what you gonna play us?
I want to play y'all my song called Holy Alamo.
All right.
Tell us more about this. You said it was about a holy man
My
or crazy holy man.
wife takes in books like some people take in stray cats. And this one was about cults and communes in America. I was thumbing through them. Most of them I don't read, but I saw this one and I was like, all right, this is for me. And it's just about crazy cult situations that have happened in America in our short history. One of those highlighted was the Holy Alamo cult. And this guy basically started out in California, and he would attract young, maybe strung out drug addicts that didn't have any money or were homeless. He would take them in and feed them and give them a purpose, which was working in his sweatshop, making jackets
Making jackets.
for the ultra rich. He had a infamous shop in Nashville, and everybody that was anybody had one, from Dolly Parton, the Saint, to Michael Jackson.
It wasn't nudie suits.
Wait a minute. The jacket? You talking about the
Star-studded jackets with like ridiculous airbrush looking things on the back of them.
jacket? What was that brand?
Alamo, Tony Alamo jackets.
Oh, Tony Alamo. Jacket.
Tony Alamo.
Okay.
And basically, these were kids that were being forced to stay there and working for no wages. And
And eventually that came out, huh?
yeah, he got busted. I don't know how
But
it
these
happened.
celebrities knew about it and didn't know.
they
about it.
didn't
I don't know if they knew about it,
They did, I'm
but
sure.
everybody that was anybody, if you look them up now, the jackets are just ridiculous. They're super ugly, but they were very expensive. When his wife died, he had her mounted and displayed in his house for a few months.
What?
And
Is that legal?
I don't know how legal it is, but the third verse of the song mentions something about my wife, and everybody's like, "That's so sweet." He talks about Caitlin in his song, and that's actually coming from Tony Alamo saying that. Anyway. Maybe it's better if I just sing it.
Just
to you.
sing the song. Sounds like a good one.
Wrote a song about it when I hit.
It is a good one. I've heard it.
Holy Alamo.
Who's to take a hike, go for a ride tonight? A square meal and a fight tonight just out across the state line. I give him everything I got, he made me alright. A real fix to make you quit from the Hollywood nights. Oh, and he feeds the children well, keeps them off the path that leads them all straight to hell. As long as they keep turning at the coast, he can sell. And even though sometimes he chokes, they know he means well. Say what you might, it's like he's the new Jesus Christ. Punch tossed till I bled, but I knew that it looked so right. With the rhinestone studs, all the stars gonna come to life. Tony keeps all the money, but he needs it for a better life. Oh, and he feeds the children well, and keeps them off the path that leads them all straight to hell. As long as they keep turning at the coast, he can sell. And even though sometimes he chokes, we know he means well.
And the third verse is from Tony's perspective.
Have you seen my wife? She's the light of my life. She's been dead for a while, don't you love the way I still shine? I don't wanna make you cry, but it will alright. Just sign the line and you can make it all mine tonight. Oh, now feed the children well, and keep them off the path that leads them all straight to hell. As long as they keep turning at the coast, I can't sell. And even though sometimes I choke, you know, I mean well.
Yeah.
I like it.
So he talks about signing the line there at the end, and there was something in that story about him making the people in his cult sign what they call a poverty vow, which is apparently a thing with some churches. But basically, you swear any possessions that you have belong to the preacher.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't find a way to make poverty vow sound right in there.
Tony Alamo jacket. I got to see one of these.
Dave needs a mic, don't he?
They are right there. I get them.
What's that?
Yeah.
I got it.
No.
Getting tired.
There we go.
And they come up.
Tony Alamo. Yeah. Everybody's got one.
Everybody's got one.
Everybody got
I
one.
just wanted to make sure I didn't have one back in the day.
He said before, we might need to cut this.
Greg
segment.
Allman. Tony Alamo jacket. Well, this is on Etsy and it's used for $225. Here's one for
I'm sure they went down in value.
$50 on Poshmark. Used. $890 vintage Tony Alamo jacket. Good Lord. This is crazy. I don't remember these, but I like that part about, well, I don't know, I like it, but the part where you said he had his wife stuffed, mounted.
Yeah.
After she passed away. That's kind of like Roy Rogers, had his horse mounted.
Yep.
Stuffed.
That's not like having your horse stuffed.
No, that's a little bit
like
different.
having the
But
person
I'm thinking
Way weirder.
Roy Rogers had his horse mounted so he could mount him one more time, and I'm sure Tony Alamo, but it's different from Tony Alamo's wife being mounted so he could mount her one more time.
That's definitely a different kind of mountain there.
But you can mount your horse. It's like high in the saddle.
Now, which one's worse?
Oh,
Lord.
well, I reckon we'll take a minute here. It's that segment of the program where I'll read you a tale of the week that I wrote here a few years ago, and this one is called "Heard It on the Radio." The thermionic triode, a vacuum tube invented in 1907, enabled amplified radio technology. In 1947, John Bardeen, William Shockley, and Walter Brattain invented the first point contact transistor at AT&T Bell Labs. Fascinating, right? In 1948, German physicists Herbert Mattar and Heinrich Welker developed their own prototype and demonstrated a workable all-transistor radio in August 1953 at the Dusseldorf Radio Fair. Texas Instruments of Dallas, Texas sold the first transistor radio, the Regency TR1, in November of 1954. Hundreds of thousands of baby boomers could have cared less about the science that led to the electronic marvel they could hold in the palm of their hand. It was the music coming out of the tiny speaker that spoke volumes. It all came together so perfectly. The technology, the prosperity of a post-World War II economy, the advent of rock and roll music, and a large audience of young people. Like so many, I can tell you where I was or what I was doing when I first heard certain songs on the radio. Some of my earliest recollections came from the dashboard of the old Ford family station wagon. Lurching forward out of the back seat when Tommy Rose, Sheila, came on the mighty 690 Big Ape radio station out of Jacksonville, Florida. My mama and her sister, Aunt Seal, cackling away at the hilarity of Ahab the Arab by Ray Stevens as we were headed to downtown Waycross for a Saturday movie at the Ritz Theater, or curled up in the back floorboard during the winter, feeling the heat from the transmission and listening to Wonderland by Night, Canadian Sunset, and Moonglow on some magical AM radio program called Sundown Serenade as Daddy pointed the car west between Waycross and Albany. After we returned home from Tripoli, Libya in 1960, Daddy, a 20-year Air Force veteran, was immediately stationed at Turner Airfield in Albany, Georgia. We took up residence in a pink house trailer at B&S Trailer Park, just east of town on Highway 82. I got my first transistor radio, complete with leather case and earphone, from the PX on the Air Force Base, and listened to it religiously. I can remember falling asleep to Nino Tempo and April Stevens singing Deep Purple with it under my pillow in '63. My older brother Gary and I watched the Beatles on Ed Sullivan's show at our neighbor's trailer on February 9th, 1964. John, Paul, George, and Ringo left an immediate impact on us. So much so that less than a week later, we had fashioned guitars from scrap plywood, clothesline wire, and roofing nails, and stood bravely under the trailer park street lamps at night, singing those fabulous songs we had memorized from the radio. Back in those days, Waycross had 2 radio stations, WACL and WAYX. They both had familiar on-air personalities, but none more flamboyant than the DJ Johnny B. Moses. At WACL, he promoted local dances called B-Baby Hops and booked groups like the Candymen, King David and the Slaves, and the Bushmen. Radio in the 50s and 60s was all things to all people. In the early morning, you had your daily devotional, then the news, then the farmer's report, followed by talk shows like Arthur Godfrey Time, then about an hour of bluegrass gospel leading up to the midday news. Following the news at noon, it was country music until school let out. Then top 40 rock and roll ruled until about bedtime, when many stations played either easy listening or race music, as they called it. That was the black music of the time, culminating in the deafening finality of the sign-off at midnight with the Star Spangled Banner, followed by Ray Charles, Georgia. I don't think I've ever slept as good as when I did in the 60s with that little transistor radio dialed down low just above the threshold between sound and silence. Comes as sweet and clear as moonlight through the pines.
Nice.
They weren't Mexican radio, but it was...
I was about to say, nice segue from the Mexican radio interview.
South Georgia radio. I'm sure. The thing about Mexican radio, back in, well, before my day, it was back in the Carter family when they were young, you know, and just starting out. American radio stations would go just over the U.S.-Mexican line and set up a super transmitter. Because in Mexico, you could do that. You were regulated in the United States by how many watts you could use to broadcast, you know, but those super stations just the other side of El Paso would boom out this signal those people talking about in New York, you know, could pick it up, you know, and a lot of people in the hills of Tennessee and all, like the Carters, they used to talk about, you know, we used to hear that great country music, you know, or whatever it was they was transmitting, you know, at the time, or their shows was transmitted on the super transmitters. That's where Johnny Cash, little boy in Dyess, Arkansas, could hear June Carter Cash, little girl, on the Carter family radio show, you know, and he kind of fell in love with her when they was just a little boy and girl. But that's fascinating, that radio. I wish it was still kicking as strong as it used to be. But it's pretty much, I mean, it's still there, but it's nothing like it.
A lot of other
used
options
to
now.
be. Yeah, I mean, the
You just got to try to hit all the different options. That's all.
the Pandora and Spotify, and then you had XM satellite radio come into vogue. It didn't kill radio. Radio is still there, but it's nothing like it used to be because it's all formatted now. And like Clear Channel, I think, kind of owns everything. And the fascination, the beauty of the old local radio stations with the on-air personalities and all of that's kind of lost, part of history. And
There's still some out there.
Yeah.
Holdouts.
And as far as you know, that was where people like us as musicians, we could, back in those days, you could drive a record around from tower to tower, you know, and walk in there and get them, hopefully get them to play your record.
Well, now you can just send them an email.
Yeah.
So that helps. Or maybe it doesn't. Seeing somebody in person, you know.
Yeah.
It's a different effect than getting an email. Radio people probably get hundreds of emails a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing about nowadays is they're so strict with the program that they say,
There's
man,
very
I ain't
few.
got time for you.
Yep.
I can't fit you in this. We got our list and we're sticking to it.
We got the same 20 songs on repeat.
Yeah, it is,
Man.
basically.
But I mean, there are some stations out there like Creek Radio in Macon
Yeah.
and Queen Bee in Albany.
Mm-hmm.
It's out there trying to put out some
Independent stations.
Independent station. There you go. Just like independent labels.
Where can everybody find your new album?
Oh, if you want one of
Help
these right here
yourself.
to put in your hands,
How can they help
you can
themselves?
help yourself to one of those at either one of my shows, or you can go to AndyJohnsonGeorgiamusic.com.
Georgia spelled out.
Spelled it out. And you can get a physical copy there. Buy one, I'll mail it to you myself.
Cool.
Signed.
I'll lick the envelope if you want me to. And
They'll be cloning little Andy Johnsons everywhere.
if you're one of those folks that don't do CDs, which there's probably more of those than there are,
You got 8 tracks?
I can have 8 tracks available. No, I'm just kidding. But online, it's available everywhere as of today. the
Oh, that's
22nd.
today?
April 20. Today's the actual release day. Yep.
All right.
April 22nd. It is available Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all those places.
So when this comes out, it's already everywhere.
I encourage you to buy it, of course. But if you want
How
to
much
just
you
want to
selling
stream
for?
it for free, that's fine.
That's fine.
How much you sell them for?
I bought one.
Physical CD, $12.
$12. I got it right here.
He's gonna buy one right now.
I'm gonna
show y'all how it's
do
done.
this and show you how it's done.
Show them
folks.
how it's done, Dave.
Let's see. Like that guy, friend of mine, and when we were in the strip club, he said, "Got change?"
Yeah, you got to go. Yeah, it's out in the car. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, I got a new website. Thank you. That I'm also running as an independent. You do everything yourself.
Yeah.
So
Looks good
be
too.
patient. Thank you. Thanks Squarespace, making it real idiot friendly.
Yeah, that's how ours is.
But
Pretty
you can see where I'm going to be at. That's probably the best way to get one if you don't want to have to worry about it getting lost in the mail like things do these days. Just come out to a show and meet me and talk to me. That'd be cool. Ask me a question. I have an old football coach that asks me every time, when you going to cut that shit off your face?
He don't care about the hair. It's just a beard.
When you going to get all that fuzz off your face? So you can come ask me a question like that if you want to.
If you want to.
Yep. Just don't break my mic stand. That'll be cool. I've got to go buy another one now before my shows tomorrow.
You probably go hit old Billy Ray up at
I'm gonna have
Hickory
to.
Wind Music. He's the only place in town. Yeah. Well, folks, we appreciate you being here with us one more time on Something in the Water podcast. I'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Andy Johnson.
Johnson.
Andy Johnson.
Andy Johnson.
Or Randy Johnson. That's what I like to call him.
Randy, depending on how late it is in the evening, what all's been consumed.
I'd like to remind y'all to like, subscribe, rate, review. Email us at our somethinginthewater@gmail.com. Any questions you might have. And listen out.
And by the time they see this, Patreon will be.
Yeah, we have a Patreon.
And check out some of our Patreon episodes. You can subscribe
To the deep end.
How many do y'all have now?
as far as the
Episodes.
the Patreon or these.
These episodes here.
This is number 18.
Yeah,
This is number 18 of-
18.
Yeah, if it's the first one you've heard, you got some catching up to do.
Mm-hmm. Plenty
There
of
you go.
backlog. But we'll be coming, I guess by this time, time this one comes out, we'll already have a Patreon episode out.
That's right. We'll have a little teaser out, and like the
We're calling that the deep end, and it's a little edgier and a little, for the hardcore fans.
we
a little more behind the scenes and a little more going on. But
we say things and do things on that one.
Oh,
That
mount things.
And we might even mount a thing or two.
if it's going to get worse than this, I don't know.
Well, once again, we thank you. On behalf of Justin Mercer, Caution Light Media, I'm Uncle Dave Griffin.
I'm Sean Clark.
We'll see you next time.
When the cold black water finds its way across through your veins, it just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate. It just might seal your fate.